Happy Wednesday. I'm going to come at you today with, excuse me, a start to finish. Your makeup just arrived in the mail. You're new to Saint. You have no idea what this is all about. What do we do? I don't have brand new shades to show you. Very close to brand new shades, but not brand new. Just gonna double check my shades here. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I want that shade for my Brightening Highlight. Hello, Jen. How are you? I'm always so unorganized. I should do all this stuff before I actually come in, but no, I don't. Okay, I'm going to use that for my Brightening Highlight. Okay, so let's just pretend like these are brand new tins. Hello, everyone popping in. I don't know how to say your name who just came on. I'm so sorry. Noelle, I think. Forgive me. All your IG handles come in. Nothing else. Okay, I'm just cleaning off this palette because it's disgusting. Man, I gotta sort my life out here before I jump on a live. Okay. Here we go. So you just made your purchase, your makeup just arrived, there's some crazy person riding around my neighborhood. I don't trust them. Okay, good thing I sit here at the window and just people watch all over the place. Okay, empty palette. You just ordered the basic kit. Maybe you ordered 2 brushes, or maybe you have a brush sort of at home that you use, maybe this brush at home, and you ordered one detailed brush so that you can place your makeup on. But you're gonna pop your tins into your palette. Now they're gonna come with a lid on them like that, so you're just gonna slide them in, but my lids aren't on here, so we're just gonna place them in there. So this is my main highlight, and I'm gonna place them in the way I place them on my face. You might do things a little differently, maybe you want to do your contour first before you put your main highlight on, but I'm going to keep that to the back side because I'm going to put a bronzer in here, and I don't want my bronzer to get into my main highlight and my brightening highlight. So we've got our main, I just stuck my fingers in that main highlight shade. I'm just all over the place today. All right, good thing I have my baby wipes beside me. Okay. Main highlight is in. So I'm going to take my detail brush and I'm going to place this all over my face, but I'm going to prime my face first. I'm all out of sorts here today. Okay, so I'm just going to prime my face quickly with my Stay Spray. This is how I prime, and I'm just going to get it all over. You can use a primer, you can use your setting spray. Both are amazing for priming. I like to use my setting spray. Every time I've ever used a primer, I've noticed it makes me break out really badly, but my Stay Spray doesn't. Like when I use a primer, I do still use it every now and again when I want to mattify my face, because this is a mattifying primer. But it really clogs my pores, I find, so then I end up with really bad breakouts. So we're gonna tuck that away, and I just use my primer. I mean my Stay Spray, which is super easy, and you can use that no problem. Anyways, okay, let that dry, and then I'm going to place my main highlight down. So now I'm trying to decide how I want to do this, because maybe you're new to the makeup world, maybe you're not. We're gonna use our finger. We're not gonna use our finger. We are gonna use a brush. So you've got your detail brush, you loaded in your main highlight shade, and you are going to just tap it in. You're just going to pick up a bit tap it in, and you're going to kind of sweep it and then press it in. So you're going to sweep it to get it down on your face and press it in to press it in. To do just that. And you're going to leave open where you're going to put your contour. So right underneath where I'm going to contour, I'm going to pop that main foundation shade. And then you're going to leave under your eyes open. Right there. Just like that. And so you're leaving those spaces open because all of these shades that I'm going to show you, these next 3 shades, they all have coverage in them. And these 3 shades, you're going to hear me call them highlights and contour. So your main highlight, your brightening highlight, and your contour, they make up your foundation. So traditional foundation is called foundation, which is actually your main highlight. So really, you only need to put that where you want your main shade to be. So I don't know about other brands because I never used to contour before Saint, so I don't know if other contour brands have coverage in them, but I know that Saint Makeup has coverage in their main highlight, their brightening highlight, and their contour shades. Those, all 3 of those have coverage so that you're putting one single layer down, and it all 3 combine to make your main foundation. Yeah, so little bit of info. There we go. Blend it out. Always blend it out. Don't forget to blend. Next, we are going to put, and that was Candlelit. So my all over shade is Candlelit. Next, we're going to put in our brightening highlight, and this is Linen. And we're just going to pop it in there. Again, you're going to have tin lids, so you can easily slide it in. I'm popping it in because I just popped it out. Now I'm going to flip the brush to the smaller end, and I'm just going to dab a little bit into that brightening highlight, and I'm just going to come in to my inner corner here, and I'm tapping that in as I place it, and then I'm going to dab again, and I'm going to sweep that back and use any excess to finish tapping into place under my eye and right along my nose right there, right along the edge there. Then we're going to move on to the other eye, and I'm not fully blending everything out just yet because I am going to blend it all together once my contour is on, but I'm getting most of it blended. This is to just kind of get a good idea of how you're getting this makeup on with a brush. And another time we will go over, maybe you're very brand new to the makeup world, you came across me one day and you thought that makeup is really pretty. I've always wanted to kind of try out some makeup. This looks really simple. This doesn't scare me. The reason why I haven't started using makeup, or I've never really paid much attention to my makeup, is because it scares me. This was me, so I'm just my experience pre-Saint. So maybe you never wore makeup very much but you wanted to, and the only reason why you haven't is because it kind of made you nervous a bit. And that's how it was for me. I didn't really use too much makeup pre-Saint. I'm just taking any excess that I pop my brightening highlight right here, and I'm taking any excess on the brush and further blending my eye and bringing it up onto my lid as a nice base for eyeshadow. We won't do eyeshadow today, but that is usually what I do. So if you are one, it gives you a little coverage on your eyes. Two, if you are going to use an eyeshadow, it gives you a nice base. And you watched me take my main foundation and kind of rub it there too, any excess on the brush. So that's also going to help out with getting some coverage on your eyes as well. So any excess on your brush, you can just pop that right on your eyelid, and that is going to give you some coverage on your eyes and a nice base for your eyeshadow. Now you're not sweeping too much, you're kind of pressing and pulling and pushing to blend it in. You don't want to swipe it away. You want to blend it out. Oh, I got an eyelash hanging to my eye here. All right, so that's my brightening highlight. I am going to put a little bit more down the center of my nose once I get my contour on, because I'm going to use my finger to kind of pop that on. I want my contour lines to be kind of smaller. I don't want them to be too wide because I don't want my nose to appear wide. I want to keep it the same shape that it is. So the farther apart you put contour lines on your nose, the wider your nose is going to look. The closer and thinner you put them, the smaller your nose is going to look. So I always just follow my own natural shadowing. I don't do anything to like change my face shape, which you can do with contour. That's the nice thing about contour, is that it's like you can adjust, like let's say you feel like you've thinned out in your face and you're like, oh, I want my face to be a little bit fuller. Where you place it on your cheek is going to tackle that. Maybe you've filled out a little bit in your face and you're like, oh, I liked how my face was a little bit thinner before. The way you place it, that's going to change that too. So it's playing with shadow and dimension in your face, and so it's kind of, you can kind of reshape your face. I keep my face shape the exact same. I just enhance my natural shadowing. So that's all I'm going to do today with you. So brightening highlight is on. Next is our contour. This is my contour. This is Astoria. And I'm just going to pop it right here. Right there beside my brightening highlight. And now we're going to go back into that thick end here. And we're going to put some contour on our brush. And we're going to start from back here by our ear, following our cheek right into your natural shadowing. So see where my natural shadow is right there? And you can kind of see it right there. It does kind of come here. I don't bring my lines down. I've seen women do that. You can do that if you want to keep your shadow. I notice it more on women who have a nice slender face. I guess the shadow in your muscles, jaw, all that, you can kind of see it more there. So you can kind of see mine, but I have a little bit fuller face, so you can't see it as much. I could bring my line down, but I just do my cheek right here, right on my natural shadowing right there. I don't go into that line right there, but you can. But for today, we're keeping it basic, simple, easy. We're new to the saint world. So we've got our contour, and again, I did it like my main highlight. I just tap it in. Sometimes I dip the edges as well. And like I say, you're going to come from there and you're going to come straight across just like that. And we're going to come to the other side. Again, you're going to come from your ear and you're just going to follow your cheekbone and your shadowing. And then with this contour, you're going to press in an upwards motion. So you want to keep it all the way up when you blend this out. And you can take your excess contour. Some take their brush like this. I flip it to the fat side. This is the only thing I ever change on my face is my forehead. That's the only thing I manipulate. I make my shadowing a little bit thicker there to give the illusion that I have a little bit of a smaller forehead, because I have a big forehead, and I just, when my hair is up, I like a little less forehead. All this forehead, all this forehead and I can't remember shit. Sorry. Excuse my words. Plug the little one's ears. I am getting better with my potty mouth, especially having my own tiny humans around. They're not here today, but they're around and they are sponges. Picking it all up. And then I put my contour there. This you don't have to do. I just kind of dust off any excess from my forehead. And then I do come into my jaw and I place some contour there. So again, I just dab and I just follow my jawline. So contour is shadow. And I come down my throat there a bit. You have shadow lines. I just wipe the excess off. I don't go into crazy detail. You don't have to do that. It's gonna blend off when I put my bronzer on anyways, so it's not really gonna stick around, but I'm just wiping off any excess contour that I would have before I go in and further blend. But that is my contour on my jaw. I'm just going to make sure I have enough where I want it to be. So that's contour. Contour is your shadows. And this is going to bring back the dimension in your face. When you place your main foundation shade down, your main highlight or your foundation shade, excuse me, you're gonna take away your shadowing. You saw it was very faint shadow. It was there, but it kind of washed me out a bit, right? So you want contour, you want shadows, you want to bring that shadow back into your face, you want that dimension. We are not flat paper, we are dimensional. So I have my dimensions. Now I'm going to kind of blend this a bit and I'm kind of pushing back and up and pushing this up. So I just want to keep that up. I am getting older. I'm not any younger. And I'm just wanting to keep my face lifted. So instead of pulling it down and pulling my face down, I am keeping my face youthful and lifted. Nothing wrong with aging gracefully. I just want to keep my face lifted. Everything else sagged early on in life for me. So if I can keep my face nice and young, then I'll keep my face nice and young. Okay, so the next thing I would contour is my nose. And then we will move into blending. And I'm going to blend everything together with this brush. So I'm just doing my placement now. And right now, there's 3 shades there to our basic 4. We're going to talk about this shade as soon as I'm done with my nose and I've blended everything. Then we'll talk about this shade right here. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this end. Actually, you want to know what? Because I blended my eyes already, I'm going to move into the small end. And I'm going to pick up my contour. And I'm going to contour my nose. And we're going to get up a little close here. And I'm, like I said, so you can see my shadowing. And I have this bone that sticks out there. Did I put something on my face? Oh no. So I'm going to follow my shadow right on the sides of my nose, right there. That side ended up with a little bit more contour, but that's okay. Wipe off the excess on the tip of my nose. You can get fancy and go into the edge. Contour is shadow, so you can get fancy and take that contour into all your shadows. But for the sake of this being a simple get started video, and the fact that I don't really manipulate my face shape like that, we aren't going to do it. I could do one day, if anyone is ever interested, a fun fancy contour day. I am open to it. I'm open to it if you are. I'm looking into my mirror. Sorry, I'm looking down. And what I'm doing is I'm placing my brightening highlight down the center of those lines, brightening up the center of my face. So your brightening highlight is just that. It's brightening up the center of your face where you want to draw focus. So if you have mature skin, if you're a little bit older like myself, you are going to want to keep your brightening highlight to the minimal under your eyes. You don't want to draw in too much focus. We have fine lines, we have wrinkles. I'm okay with you not staring at them all day. See how you can see them. I'm okay with you not hanging around in that area. I'm okay with just keeping it to a minimal brightness there so that you can just see that my face has a bright glow instead of fine lines and wrinkles. Something that you will notice though is that the makeup doesn't settle in to your fine lines. That when you wrinkle your face, it doesn't. Your wrinkles stay, but the makeup doesn't sit right in to those lines. Like I have natural lines, fine lines, wrinkles. So the lines aren't going to go anywhere. So obviously they're there, but the makeup does not settle into them. Like usually you'll see makeup settle in. So you'll see these bright lines of concealer. If that's happening, your shade is wrong. Change your shade. It might be too light, so I would just up a shade. If that happens to you, it's okay. But also with cream makeup, it's going to move with your face. It's not going to settle. It's like skin. It's lovely. I love it. All right, so now that we have that, I'm going to move into my blush bronze brush, and I'm going to use the blush and say that fast. And I'm going to further blend everything out, like my chin here, up in my forehead a bit, kind of settle these lines right here so they're not quite as harsh. And I'm going to do that with blush. And yeah, so again, you're just pressing that in. Oh, and never forget your jawline. Remember, we contoured our jawline. I have a bad habit of forgetting that. And you're just seeing me press. I'm not pulling. I'm not doing anything extra here. And I'm starting with my lighter shades. And I am just pressing that right into my skin. It's also kind of moving things around as we go. Now I'm going to get into a little bit of pulling right here. And with your jaw contour, you're going to pull it down. This is the only place that you want to pull down. You don't want to mud your face. So after I did my lighter shades, I move on to my darker shade. This way I don't get a muddy look. Now I'm going to blend out that line. And you're going to watch it. Again, I'm just kind of pressing and pulling a bit. And that's kind of softening that line. See how that softened that line up really well there? Now I'm going to go into my nose and I'm just going to lightly press that into place. I kind of already blended my nose out a bit, but I did have a little bit too much contour on that one side. That's okay. We're just going to come into our smaller brush here. I'm just wiping it off on my hand, any excess product. I could go into my brush cleaner and just give this brush a good clean, but that's okay. And just pressing that in, kind of keeping that makeup in place, keeping that shadow, and just kind of cleaning up those harsh lines. Also, don't forget that you put a little bit of excess contour on your nose there. Blend that out. Sometimes I've forgotten a dot of contour under my nose as well. It's quite funny. And then see here, I got a bit of contour there though. I want to really, yeah, and then there we go, and blend it out. It came up on my jaw, so I'm going to clean that up with a bit of my main foundation right there. I just kind of sweeped it on there. Another amazing thing about cream makeup is that it's forgiving. So one way I like to check my jawline, because I'm usually alone when I'm doing my makeup, I'm not going to go pester my husband either and be like, hey babe. I might sometimes I do, but 9 times out of 10 I'm doing my makeup by myself and I don't have anyone to check, so I'll go like this in the mirror and see if I'm all blended out. And I'm a blind bat, so I can't really tell from there. And don't forget, sometimes you do right here and you did those little lines, and like I say, that's gonna blend out. If you got bronzer and you're placing bronzer on yourself, that's all going to blend out a little bit further, so don't worry too much. Just remember that it was there. And then double check that that area where you added a bit more main highlight is blended out too, no harsh lines there. And I have a bit of fluff. The one thing about creams, they are sticky. It's cream. Okay. Back in here. So again, we're pressing up and going back. Pressing up and going back. And this is going to get blended out even further when you get that bronzer and blush on. Right? And then you can just kind of blend out that harsh line a little bit more. Don't blend too much because you're going to come in here with some blush and bronzer. Remember that. So now we're going to put our bronzer on. So let's say, for the sake of this video, we chose bronzer. Maybe you chose blush. So you went for palette 4. You got your 3 main foundation shades. These shades are the shades that I'm going to match you to. The rest of your palette is totally up to you. You came in, you wanted to change up your makeup routine, maybe you've never really used makeup, and you wanted to try out Saint. So you came in, you asked for a color match, you wanted to start your own little palette, you went with a palette 4. These 3 shades are shades that I would help you pick, so I would shade match you to these, and then everything else that you put in here is your personal preference. I can offer suggestions on things that I can offer suggestions on things that would look really good on you, lip colors, bronzer colors. 9 times out of 10 I'm going to suggest Bella because it's the perfect bronzer for spring, summer, fall, and winter. But if you are not into that type of bronzer, you want something a little bit more subtle, we can discuss that. Anyways, I'm gonna pop Bella bronzer in here, or you can put a lip and cheek in here. So I am gonna go on from the bronzer and add a lip and cheek just so that you can kind of see. You know what? First, I'm gonna put a lip and cheek on before I put my bronzer in here. So this is a palette 8. So maybe you thought, I want bronzer and a lip and cheek. So now you have this second layer that can fit another set of 4 large tins, 2 large tins, 4 eyeshadows, 1 large tin, 6 eyeshadows. You leave it open. Maybe you just wanted you wanted the lip and cheek. I'm gonna put bronzer here. So maybe you wanted the bronzer and you wanted a lip and cheek, and then you have this spot and these 2 spots open to expand later. Maybe you don't need eyeshadows right now. So for now, we're just going to focus in on the lip and cheek and the bronzer. So let's do bronzer, then we'll do lip and cheek. I'm all over the map today. I just stuck my finger in it again. All right, bronzer tin going in. There we go. So there's my bronzer, and the reason why I put this down here is because this blush bronze brush I'm going to come in and I'm going to swirl it with my contour and see how it makes a mess there. I just did not want that in my highlight shades. So I've got a lot of bronzer on here, so I'm just going to lightly tap it along my forehead, the high points of my face right here, and sweep off some excess on my chin and neck. If you are using bronzer, I definitely suggest adding it down on your neck. And what I'm doing to blend this out is little swirly motions, lightly swirling that in, lightly sweeping that on, because I don't want to move my makeup, but I want to blend that bronzer out. Check that out. Bronzed up, further blended out those harsh lines that we had going on. You can take any excess across the bridge of your face like this to add a bit of color to your face there. That's something that I do too, if I didn't already wipe it all off on my neck and my jaw. When you do your jaw with it, it's also blending out that contour line there that you had. And there we go. Now we're going to move into blush. I forget what shade this is. I was looking at it to see if I could remember what shade it was. Candy. This is a really pretty pink. Candy. So now we're going to use the blush end. I'm just going to give it a good squeeze and I'm going to tap it in, get a little color. And for myself, I like it to go a little bit farther back here, continue with that lifted look. You can put it right on the apple of your cheek. That's going to kind of fill out your face a little bit more, but this is where I like my blush. I'm going to unpinch this and blend it out just like that, and I am literally pushing it in back and forth just like that. Give another pinch, get back in here like that, unpinch it and tap it in. Now you can either place your blush down and then your bronzer on top, or you can place your bronzer on and your blush on top. When I blend it out, it kind of brings it down a little bit into my apples, but not much, sticking to the back side to keep that lifted look. You can even tap a bit onto your nose, like so. And that gives you a little bit of a pink look right on your nose. You're adding color back to your face. You took all that color away by putting your main highlight shade down. Now you want to add a little color back, add a little life back. We have natural coloring to our face because we have blood vessels right there, so it kind of adds a little color, a little lifelikeliness. And when you wipe it away with your main highlight, you have this like dull look. You don't have this you don't have color. And I just like to add a little color. You can go dark, you can go bright, whatever color you are comfortable with wearing on your cheeks, go for it. If you have a blush at home already and you wanted to just go bronzer, all of our makeup works well with other makeup so long as it's silicone free. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that's all you do. You got your basic kit. I did go one step further instead of just the basic palette 4 because I also wanted to add a bit of blush in there, and yeah, I wanted to add the blush in to kind of give you an idea of what a full finished look looks like. I'm going to clean up this contour right here. If you look, it's kind of thick and a little bit of a mess compared to this side. So what I'm going to do, like here where I cleaned up where it kind of went up above my jawline, I'm going to take the small end, dip it into my main highlight shade, and I'm going to look into my, hold on, I'm so blind. I'm going to look into my mirror while I do this, and I'm going to sweep that up, just like that, and right there. So that just, sharpened up that contour right there and gave me back my cheek. I went too far, right? This side looks a little too far right there. So again, just a light dip. And just lightly fix any small mistake that you maybe made. And press it in. Voila! All done. I'm just gonna curl my lashes and put some mascara on. I'm not doing an eyeshadow look because I just wanted to share how you would put your palette together once your palette arrives back home to you. And where did I put, there it is. Once your palette arrives home to you, and maybe you're very new to Saint, so you haven't set up a palette before, not quite sure where to place everything, not quite sure how to really blend it all out. Sorry, I don't really talk when I do my mascara. My apologies. It's coming. There we go. Yeah, so I just kind of really wanted to just hone in on a basic, get your kit together, where it goes, how to work with it, what's it all about, what's going down, Charlie Brown. Get it together. But yeah, so that's that. If you have any questions at all, I am here to answer them for you. You chose me as your artist, so you get me for life. You entrusted me in sending me your makeup free selfie, and you entrusted me in choosing your shades for you, and in turn I am now your artist. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions about anything, if something's not going right for you, if a shade is not working for you. Just, it could happen, you know, transition from seasons. Maybe you got your makeup in summertime and now it's like the end of winter and you have totally changed the way your tan looks, so you've lost your tan, so maybe you need to shade down. So I am here for you. You chose me to be your artist, so that's me. I'm here for life. Hello, happy Wednesday. I almost said Tuesday. How are you doing? Mariah. I think that's you today. You're on your Micro Beauty Studio page. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so I forget what I was gonna say. Yeah, so you chose me as your artist, so I'm here for you. So if you have questions, you can't quite troubleshoot it, maybe you got your basics down and now you want to explore a little more, I'm here to help. I'm here to do any of that. You are welcome to drop a comment anywhere. You're welcome to hit up my inbox. You're welcome to send me an email asking me questions. We can set up a phone call to like a video chat to do a one-on-one personal go over everything if you're just not quite getting it. It's a learning curve makeup. It is definitely a learning curve. They are high pigmented shades, not highly. They are high pigmented, so a little goes a long way. So if you're noticing that it's just not looking right, maybe you're using too much, because it's supposed to look and feel just like your own skin. Like, it's just like you're supposed to still see, you can still see all my freckles. I mean, I've just kind of tidied up any small imperfections, kind of went over blemishes, that kind of thing. So it's almost like an airbrush. Kept everything all natural. I didn't go too crazy with colors. I kept my blush at a very minimum because I tend to naturally have just a light pink hue to my cheeks, so I didn't go crazy. Another thing about our blush is it's also lipstick, and some are a little bit more pigmented than others. Our satins are a little bit more pigmented. This is a semi-gloss, and then there's also gloss. So a gloss is going to go on like a gloss. It's going to have a bit of a tint, but it's going to mostly be a nice glossy color. Our semi-gloss is semi-gloss, a little bit more pigmented than an actual gloss, with a little bit more of a shine than a satin. And then a satin is just a satin. It's no shine to it. You can put like a light gloss. Do I have it here? Excuse me. No, of course I don't. I have it's called Lolly. It was last month's shade of the month, and it kind of reminds me of cherry chapstick a little bit, only, yeah, so like cherry chapstick. So it's not much of color, but like just a hint of color. So if you have a satin and you want a little shine, and if Lolly goes with the satin that you chose, you can pop it on and that'll kind of mix a little color for you, and also add a little bit of gloss. You can put a gloss on top, like I said, any gloss you have. Sometimes with my satins, I'll pull out my lip plumping shiny glosses and put that on top of my satins. This is by Too Faced, called Lip Injection, so you can kind of mix and match. But yeah, so that's everything. As far as tints go, this is your main foundation, and this is going to last you 3 to 4 months, depending on how often you're wearing your makeup. This is your brightening highlight, and this is going to last you 4 to 6 months. This is your contour, and this is going to last you 4 to 6 months. You roughly use about the same amount of each of these, so they last around the same time. This one you might get, yeah, your brightening highlight, you might get a little bit more length than your contour. So you might get more 6 months out of this one, and this one more 4 or 5 months. You do tend to use a little bit more. So they're similar, so 4 to 6 months on those. And then your bronzer is probably going to last you up to a year. 6 months to a year, I would say, anywhere in there, depending on how much you're wearing it, how often you're wearing it. And then your lip and cheeks, again, you could get anywhere from 6 months to a year out of that as well. It just depends on how often you're wearing your makeup, how often you're wearing it, all that kind of stuff. So good length for what you get. They look small, but they do pack a punch. Like I say, super pigmented. Same with our eyeshadows. So eyeshadows we can touch on another day, but yeah, so they do last long. You look at the tin and you think that's not gonna last long enough for me, but it will. If you can see, I've had this bronzer for a while, and she's slowly just finally emptying more and more on me. I think I've had it actually almost a year now. I've had that bronzer, so you don't use a lot of bronzer, so it lasts a long time. But yeah, so that is your basic setup with 2 brushes. I used 2 brushes. We can do a basic setup with one day if you'd like. All depends on the coverage you want is the brush that we'll choose. But that's it. Thank you so much for hanging around with me today. If you did hop on my live, if you are catching the replay, I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you were able to figure out placement and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. I am your artist. You get to contact me anytime you want. If you're catching this and you haven't ordered makeup and you're thinking, I kind of want to order it, drop into my inbox, let me know you'd love a color match. I'd be happy to match you to your shades and we can get started. Anyways, I'm off. I will see you later. Enjoy your Wednesday.